What if the scariest stories you've never heard weren't from your country? What if the horror you fear is nothing compared to what they fear across the sea? Folk horror is no longer just misty fields and wicker men. Now, it's masks in the firelight, old gods remembered only in song, and rituals whispered in languages long forgotten. This is folk horror, reborn, and this time, it's global. What is folk horror? Let's rewind for a moment. What exactly is folk horror? The term rose in the late 20th century, used to describe horror stories rooted in folklore, especially in isolated rural places. Think, the Wicker Man blood on Satan's claw. The Witch. These films rely not on jump scares, but on creeping dread. The fear that comes from things older than civilization. The rules are simple. Isolation, forgotten belief systems. Consequences for breaking ancient laws. Now, what happens when we take that structure and apply it worldwide? Where are you watching from? Let me hear you in the comment section. 3. Japan, where spirits roam. Let's begin in Japan. A land steeped in ghost stories, ancient beliefs, and terrifying creatures. Ever heard of the yochai? They're not ghosts, not quite demons, but something else entirely. From the mischievous to the murderous, these spirits are woven into Japanese life and lore. One standout? The Kushiaki one, the slit-mouthed woman? Ask her if she's pretty, and your answer could mean your death. Folk horror here is subtle, atmospheric, and psychological. Take films like Norio, The Curse, or Onibaba slow burns filled with unease. Here, the horror is in what's left unsaid. 4. Latin America curses and consequences. Now we head west, into the rich, shadowy folklore of Latin America. Here the stories are heavy with sorrow and vengeance. Have you heard the weeping? That's La Llorona, cursed to wander forever, crying for the children she drowned. Her tale has crossed borders, centuries, and languages, and yet she always returns. And it's not just her. In the jungles of the Amazon, there are whispered tales of shapeshifters El Tanachi, who whistles before it kills. In Mexico, brewery witchcraft rooted in pre-Columbian faith and Catholic punishment. Latin American folk horror blends Catholic guilt, indigenous myth, and colonial trauma into one terrifying stew. Movies like Tigers Are Not Afraid or La Llorona, 2019, aren't just horror, they're social commentary wrapped in folklore. 5. Africa, where spirits are history. In Africa, folklore isn't just stories, it's living memory. Passed from elder to child, these tales are warnings, history lessons, and curses all in one. Take Nigeria's Ogbanje children, who die young and are reborn to die again, cursing their families. Or the Tokoloshi of southern Africa, a mischievous gremlin-like being, summoned to cause harm. These aren't just campfire stories, they're cultural truths, and horror thrives in their mystery. Recent films like Saloon and The Deliverance of Comfort blend traditional beliefs with modern fear. What makes African folk horror unique is its intimacy. These stories are felt, not just told. 6. Scandinavia and Eastern Europe. Rituals. In Now, let's go cold. Scandinavia and Eastern Europe bring us frozen dread. Long winters, ancient deities, remote villages that still practice old ways. In Sweden, midsummer reintroduced the world to sun-drenched terror and strange floral cults. In Romania, tales of Strigay the undead who return to feed on the living, and the Rusalki, the drowned maidens who lure men to their deaths. Here, folk horror feels seasonal. Time moves slowly. Every feast, every death is tied to the land. What frightens us here isn't just death, it's tradition. 7. India and Southeast Asia, where the sacred turns. In South Asia, the line between holy and horrifying is thin. In India, churls, vengeful spirits of wronged women, haunt roadsides and graveyards. In Indonesia, the poking, wrapped in its burial shroud, hops to your doorstep to demand release. And in Thailand, Kraus, A floating head with organs trailing beneath it floats through the night to feed. Films like Tomb turn folklore into sprawling, mythic nightmares. Southeast Asian folk horror often centers on imbalance, broken rituals, unfulfilled duties, disturbed ancestors. 8. The New Wave. Global creators, global fears. So where's it all going? The beauty of global folk horror is in its universality. Every culture has rules, and every culture has those who break them. Filmmakers from around the world are embracing their roots, mining their past for terrors that Hollywood never touched. Streaming has opened the door. Now we can watch a cursed forest tale from the Philippines or a ritualistic thriller from Kenya with a single click. This isn't just a trend, it's a return to the earth, to belief, to fear. What started with bonfires and burning men in rural England has spread. Folk horror is